هو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. أما بعد. We have spoken last week about the inner dimension of prayer. Today, I'd like to talk about the inner dimension of Zakat. Because as I said before, that the Zakah and Salah have been mentioned together in the Quran. And today we'll talk about the understanding of Zakah and why important. The Zakah mentioned in the Quran about 32 times, the word Zakah. And mentioned by itself twice. One where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-A'raf, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسَعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. My mercy encompasses everything. فَسَأَكْتُبُهَا لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. I'll prescribe my mercy for those who have taqwa, piety, and those who give their zakah. يُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. And then in Surah Fussilat, Allah mentioned الذين يؤتون الزكاة الذين لا يؤتون الزكاة وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون. Those who don't pay their zakah and they don't believe in akhirah. If you look to the linguistic meaning of zakah, zakah, it means blessing and numu wal barakah. But zakah, from Sharia perspective, is specific money paid in a specific time with a specific percentage. Specific money in a specific time with a specific percentage. Now, why zakah was connected to salah? Because salah is a prayer, is the source of purification. Prayer is the source of purifications of our hearts, so that our heart become ready to fulfill its social obligations toward others. And I told you in last time when I spoke about salah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala condemned people who don't take care of the orphans, but also they neglect their prayer, the connection between them. Today, inshallah, our objective of this class is to achieve the following. Number one, to understand the importance of these rituals. Number two is to all of us to make a commitment to pay our zakah. Number three, to promote zakah in the Muslim community. And not to be biased, but I'm so glad that my dear brother Anwar Khan is here, a person been entrusted with helping many Muslims around the world through Islamic Relief and other agencies. That if we pay our zakah in America, everybody pay their zakah, you will not see a single poor Muslim in America. If all Muslims pay their zakah in America, we will not first have a single poor Muslims in America. Forget about how many millions of dollars we're going to send overseas. Even in America only. That will be no Muslim in need. A lot of money within this community, Muslim community. Now let us talk about why zakah. Zakah came for these reasons, and those who were in my class on Saturday, you're going to see some of this repetition for I have a class for brothers there. Number one, to address issue called at-tafawut fil arzaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made people have more income than others. وَاللَّهُ فَضَّلَ بَعْضَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الرِّزْقِ. Allah gave more people resources than others. What the people who have more resources should do should share the resources with people who don't have enough resources. That's what Allah says. أنفقوا مما رزقناكم. Spend from what you had given you. I'm going to come to that in a minute. The second is purification of the nafs from the diseases and the sickness of stinginess and holding back. وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them be able to protect themselves from the shuh of the nafs, the stinginess, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. They're the most successful one. Number 3 is a belief that the money we have is belong to Allah. Every money, any wealth we do have, the honor of it, the original honor, is who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human beings are entrusted with wealth. أنفقوا مما جعلكم مستخلفين فيه. It's spent from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entrusted you with. It is not ours to begin with. That's a very important concept. ومفهوم الاستخلاف في المال. The money, the wealth, been entrusted with human being. Allah is the original honor of it, and then He asks us how to spend it. Number 4 is to have people in society who have less than us have a dignified way of living by having the rich people understanding this is the right of the poor person. You know, have you seen in Human Rights Declaration the rights of the poor and the money of the rich? Is it in the declaration? Is it in the declaration? In Human Rights Declaration of United Nations, this have a statement saying, and the poor have the rights on the money of the rich. In Islam, it's considered rights. It's a human right. It's one of the human rights. Subhanallah. Allah says so. وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. In their money, there's a specific right for the poor person, needy people in society. It is not a favor. It's an obligation. It's right. Their rights in the money. Now, number 5 is to create stability in community. How does Zakat create stability in community? If the rich people make sure that the needs of people, vulnerable people in society, being fulfilled, it creates kind of social harmony in society. Not having jealousy and envies and so forth. And empowering people to be self-sufficient. As I said in the introduction of the inner dimension of worship, you remember? I said if somebody pays zakah, give somebody money to pay the rent. Who's benefiting from that rent? The landlord. You give them money to buy grocery. Who's also benefiting from this? The owner of the grocery store. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and the money circulate in society. So that it doesn't be in the hand of few, 1%. Trickle down. That's what the Quran says. Then, zakah also is a source of forgiving of sins. To kafir al-dhunub. Zakah and sadaqah. And zakah is a means and ways of showing gratitude to Allah for giving us resources. Shukr al-ni'am. That's why a person not paid the zakah is ungrateful to Allah. قالوا أندعم ولو شاء الله أطعمه. In Surah Yasin. Should you feed somebody whom Allah will have fed them? That's an arrogant attitude. By the way, there's many people saying that. They're poor, it's their fault they're poor. We are wealthy because we're smart. And therefore, we're not going to help anyone. Now, the other aspect of this is the differentiate between zakah and taxes. Be careful here. When you pay our zakah, we should not get direct benefit from it. Again, that's why scholars were hesitant to have the zakah being used for masajid. Because the rich and the poor person pray in the same masjid. For as a person giving zakah is getting benefit out of it. For different from taxes. When you pay your taxes, there's a road, a public school. All of this service being paid from the taxes. But zakah is not a tax. Because a person who pays zakah should not ask for any benefit. Like somebody asked me, what if I pay my zakah and get tax deductible? You pay whatever they give you back, you give it back. You don't benefit from your zakah. You don't pay zakah for benefit. Okay? Now, Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, and other scholars have summarized this called al-adab al-batina fi zakah, the inner dimension of zakah. Number one, okay, let me tell you, he said there's 8 principles we must know about zakah. He said the following. Number one, we have to understand what the intents of zakah, which is come in 3 things. Number one is a test for a person have money to see whether they love Allah or they love their money. Very difficult to give money, huh? لأنه محبوب. People love money. They're very difficult in separating themselves from their money. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيَدْعُمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. They give from the money that they love, from the food that they love, not the leftover. This idea of loving Allah, when you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do everything for His love. But when a person loves money, love their ego, love the power, then they do everything to violate what Allah wants from them. Because they become materialistic-centered people. Desire-driven individuals, ego-centric. That's why people go blind. Number one, the test of loving of money. Number two, it meant to purify a person from the characteristic of stinginess, which can destroy a person spiritually. The third is to thank Allah for the money and the wealth has given us. That's number one. Number two, those 3, by the way, all of them in number 1. Number 2, a person should do it as soon as possible. Al-bidar bil-ikhraj. And here I would like to suggest something. A person can give a zakah in advance. Before a year comes in. When the year comes in, if he or she found that they paid more than they owe in zakah, alhamdulillah, sadaqah. If they pay less, they make a difference. Because as we speak, there's people now in need at this moment. If I let them wait until the year comes, that's really delaying it. Huh? Although Islamically is correct, but it's better if you give it as an advance and estimate it later. And we pay our zakah in the lunar calendar. Lunar calendar. That will have us, by the way, to calculate it better. Because if you pay zakah with the lunar calendar, after 3 years, you paid 1 year at more zakah. Solar system, that you cheat the 11 days. If a lunar calendar will be good, every Ramadan, for example, pay our zakah. Now people ask me, which is going to come to that, what people who have income, they are not in business, and their income, the end of the year, $200,000, but they spend it. How do they spend it? Bahamas, Hawaii, Caribbean, what else? And they said they don't have the money. My dear brothers and sisters, if a person making $200,000 should pay the zakah first before he goes to vacation. Period. We could not consume the money of the poor people. Period. That is a sin. It's a sin. A person have to pay the poor people first and then go and have a good time, no problem. Enjoy yourself. Nothing wrong. Buy a nice car, nice house, no problem. But pay our zakah first. Now, number 3, al-israr. Al-israr, with the sin. From sir, al-israr. ما معنى الإسرار؟ الإسرار, that means if a person giving zakat to individual, better to give it in private, not in public. But a person gives zakat to a bigger cause. You attended Islamic Relief or any one of those agency fundraising, and they showed you they need wells, digging wells in Africa. And if you pay with zakat publicly, you're going to encourage other people. Don't do it. Do it publicly, so you encourage other people. Say, I pledge to dig that well. But in individual levels, somebody, a specific person, is to give it private. In public cause that benefit the poor people, give it what? Public. So you encourage other people. Which is number 4. He said, أن يثير الإخراج إما حيث يعلم أن في الإثار ترغيبا للناس. The Imam Ghazali is saying that when he gives it publicly, he will encourage other people to give. As long as a person protect themselves, their heart from showing off. Number 5. ألا يفسد صدقته بالمن والأذى. والمن على الفقير. Allah said, لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم إيش؟ بالمن والأذى. Don't destroy your good deeds by bragging about it and tell a person, I did something to you. Didn't I help you? You needed help. I bought you the car. I helped you with this. I paid your grocery. It destroyed everything that I have done. Allah will give no reward for that person. A person should not do mannu adha by reminding the person they have help, that they met who they are and help them, and didn't you come to this country was nothing and we helped you? No. That being ungrateful to Allah. Even the other person being ungrateful, say something not good to you, leave it to Allah. Look at his philosophy, Imam al-Ghazali. واعلم أن منبع المن أن يرى الإنسان نفسه محسنا إلى الفقير ومنعما عليه. ولو حقق النظر لرأى الفقير محسنا إليه بقبول حق الله الذي هو طهرة له. He says, flip it. You should not look to the person receiving our zakah as we did them a favor, but look to that person who have done us a favor by accepting our zakah, purifying our heart, and made that fulfill our rights, his rights, which are the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person who receiving the zakah have done a favor to us. And then he says, and a person who giving zakah, he been compensated. True or not? Everyone pays zakah, been paid for it by Allah. Is it good reward? By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the day that the day that no money, no wealth, no children benefit anyone. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, except those come to Allah with a sound heart. Then there's a punishment if you don't pay zakah. If you don't pay zakah, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ ثُمَّ لَا يُنْفِقُونَها فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُمْ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Those who hold money and they will not give it what Allah wants them to do, it's called kanz, hoarding the money. Allah said, give them the news of the severe punishment. يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمٍ. The day that this money will become a source of punishment. يَكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُرُهُمْ هَذَا مَا كَنَزْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. This is a source of punishment. Therefore, the person who taken our zakah have done good to us. Now, the other things a rich person should remember, many wealthy people made their wealth out of the poor people. Am I correct? Listen. If somebody, as I said earlier, buy a bottle of water, there's a company making money or not? Buying bread. That person makes money out of the poor person. Society is built on interdependency. If a person works in the field, that does not be able to pay even their rent sometimes. But they do service to the community. Isn't that the right of the community, the responsibility of the community, that makes sure to take care of that person? Now, number 6. A person must not say, oh, my zakah is a lot of money. Subhanallah, I just put $5,000 in zakah. Really? Out of what? For every 1,000, how much you pay for zakah? For every 1,000. 2.5%, what's it? $5. I'm saying $25, even you cannot buy pizza with that now. Why are people upset about $25? For $5,000, by the way, the nisab in America, about $5,000. If a person has saved $5,000, have to pay zakah. Okay? 25 times 5 is 125. Am I correct? I used to do math with that calculator. MashaAllah. Because I used to do the inheritance. You have to do from your head. $125 from $5,000. Subhanallah, I paid 100. Subhanallah, Allah give you $5,000. Therefore, no matter if you're a billionaire and you pay your zakah, we pay our zakah, there's nothing for what Allah has given us. And the other things, zakah bring blessing and barakah to the money. Wallahi. That's why the word zakah, it means what? Growth. How? With the money that left, you do more things with it. Allah bless it, protecting it. That's why when a person pays zakah, they're actually protecting their money. And they purify their heart. طيب خذ من أموالهم صدقة. What do you do with the صدقة? ها؟ تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها. What is the meaning of the word تطهرهم وتزكيهم? Purify and purify. ها؟ كيف تترجم هذه translation? Cleansing. And then which one is cleansing? تطهرهم and تزكيهم. Purify them. Let me explain the difference. تطهير and تزكية, two interesting words. التطهير is something we call it الموانع. والتزكية we call it القواطع. Let me explain that. You have a tree. You want the tree to grow. Where you plant your tree, if you want to grow, good soil, fertile land. That is tathir. Make sure the land is clean, is good. That's the tathir of the heart. Bring it back to the fitrah. Remove all the things from the heart that's not good. Now tazkiyah is the growth and development. For example, you have the tree, you plant the tree. There's insect come to the tree. What do you do to the insect? You clean it, you make sure you protect from the insect. The weed grow around the tree, uproot them. هذه تزكية. Tathir is to initiate something to grow. And then called mawani', remove the obstacles of growth. And qawati', you stop the thing that stop the growth. You hear what I'm saying? That's very important. Therefore, our hearts has to be purified to the state of fitrah, the innate. And then the growth is that when shaitan come to you, first of all, no one will pay zakah unless they purify their heart from what? Stinginess. From bukhl. That tathir. Type tazkiyah, you purify our heart from man wa other. After you give the zakah, I gave you zakah. Therefore, it has to be tathir wa tazkiyah. Quran is amazing. I know you know that. Some teaching the choir. Quran is an amazing book. It is. And the wordings of the Quran cannot be from anyone except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But He does not use mutaradifat. You don't mean the same thing. But in English, sometimes you use the same word, purification and purification. ما قال هذا الكلام. مولانا سبحانه وتعالى حاشا لله ان يكرر نفسه كذا. It's very important not to have that kind of misunderstanding. طيب. I have to watch the time because I want to give you time to ask me a question about zakah. Where are we? Allah يستعظم العطية. He does not say, oh, my zakah is a lot I give a lot of money in zakah. Brother, do you know how much I gave in zakah? Then how much Allah have given you? تحسب على الله. طيب. The seventh. A person must give from their money the best. Because there's a zakah of crops, there's a zakah of animal. a person should not give the leftover. This man whom Rasulullah asked him, he said, Ya Rasulullah, ask Allah to make me rich. I want money. For Rasulullah said, maybe it's not good for you. Don't ask for it. Say, Ya Rasulullah, I just want money. I would do good with it. He said, not sure. He said, Ya Rasulullah, ask him. Rasulullah made dua for him. He becomes so wealthy, he used to be in the first line in Salah. Rasulullah said, Assalamu alaikum, the man is there. He become the third, the fourth, and the fourth become late. And now disappeared from the masjid, come only to Jum'ah. Then Jum'ah become difficult because he moved, his wealth become, that time is camels and sheep, and become so much, he moved out of Medina. Even Jum'ah did not show up. A'udhu billah. Then Rasulullah sent somebody to collect zakat from him. The person gave Rasulullah sick animals. Sick, the most sick animal. First of all, he said, come tomorrow, come to, and then we gave them. But Rasulullah refused. He said, I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to accept your zakah. You become stingy now with Allah has given you. كلا إن الإنسان لا يضغى أن رآه استغنى. Person have arrogance after they have the wealth. Qarun, Allah gave him money. And he displayed his wealth to impress people. And people said to him, لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Don't be too overexcited about this. Allah doesn't like this kind of pride. He said, إنما أوتيته على علم عندي. This money, God had nothing to do with it. I made the money. I went to the best business school in America and went to the Wall Street and made billions of dollars. God had nothing to do with it. ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين. I made him have tongue and two lips. I gave him the hands. I gave him the eyes. And then I gave him the brain. And then said the brain does not belong to Allah. What Allah did to him. فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ. Allah made customized earthquake. You heard of that? Only in his house. No one heard of it except next day in the morning, the home disappeared of Qarun. Customized, swallowed. فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ. Him and his wealth went down. Allah leveled it. People have seen this. Says, no. وَكَأَنَّ اللَّهِ Subhanallah, we should not have asked for that. If Allah give you an eye, $1 billion, and take faith Imam from us, we don't pray anymore. We don't say Subhanallah anymore. We don't make salah on the Rasulullah. You want it? Anyone want this? $1 billion, but it might be taken from the heart? أعوذ بالله. اللهم لا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا. Wallahi, if somebody give me the wealth of this world and ask me not to pray for 2 days or 1 day, I will not take it. Wallahi al-azim. I would not miss my salah for 1 day. What's talking about? Somebody give you $1 billion and then you don't pray, you drop dead. What are you going to do with the money? A person should not replace their faith with anything. You know what happened when a person is dying? When a person is dying, have not paid their zakat and not given the sadaqah. Well, you know what they ask? قال رب رجعوني ايش؟ رب لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب. I want to give me more time, extension time. It's not taxes, no extension time. What he will do if Allah gave him more time? What did he say? This person was dying. لولا أجل قريب. I want to be given more time. What did he say? What he request? What he would do if he got more time? Huh? فَصَدَّقْ. He said, I will go do sadaqah. Why he says sadaqah? لما رأى من ثوابها. He realized that he really missed out. You know, feeling of missed out? What do you call that? What's the terminology for feeling missed out? Huh? FOMO? Feeling of miss out. I wallahi feeling so much of missing out all of the things of Qiyamah. You feel the miss out on Qiyam, in Tahajjud, in Dhikr, in Tasbih. The fear of miss out. I really feel missing out. Time is running, huh? Running out of time. For this idea of the wealth become the focus of personal life, breathing dollars, sleeping with dollars, and does not share it with others, it will become a regret. قالوا ما سلككم في سقر. What brought you to hellfire? قالوا لم نكن من المصلين ولم نكن ايش؟ نطعم المسكين. We never used to feed poor people, needy people. Never used to feed them. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Oppressing the orphan and does not advocate for the needy. Zakat is a very important pillar in Islam. It's one of make it or break it. Therefore, a person must give the best. ولا تيمموا الخبيث منه تنفقون. Surah Al-Baqarah. I forgot to tell you. This guy died like that. He refused the wealth overtaking him. He left the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah. Allah said in the Quran in Surah Al Imran, لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. You will never reach righteousness and taqwa until you spend from what you love. Surah Al Imran, ayah 92. Look, Allah said, لن تنالوا. You will never reach righteousness and piety until you spend from what we love. You know, there's a man, can I tell you a story? There's a Sahabi named Abu Talha. أنس بن مالك يقول كان أبو طلحة أكثر أنصار بالمدينة مالا من نخل. The person have the most palm trees in Medina. وكان حب أمواله إليه بريحاء. That he has the best of his wealth in a particular place. وكانت مستقبل المسجد, was close to the masjid. And the Rasul ﷺ used to enter it and to drink from the water of it. He used to love that garden close to the masjid. فلما نزلت لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. When this ayah was revealed, you will not reach righteousness until you spend from what you love. Abu Talha قال يا رسول الله إن الله يقول, Allah says, you will not reach righteousness until you spend from what you love. وإن حب الأموال إلي, he said, the most beloved money to me is this garden. وإنها صدقة لله, I'm giving it for the sake of Allah. أرجو برها وذخرها عند الله فضعها حيث أراك الله. He said, use it whatever you want to use it for the sake of Allah. Subhanallah. فقال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بخ ذاك مال رابح. He said that you made a best deal. Now you have gained the profit of your money. You made a lot of money. Talking about Akhirah. And Abu Talha, very interesting, his wife and family living in the farm. But he came to near the farm and said, my wife, honey, between, huh? You need to get out of this farm. He said, why? He said, I sold it. To whom? To Allah. He said, Allahu Akbar. And her son has a date in his hand. He said, son, put this date down. We're going to go to another date. We're going to go to the other farm. He said, why? He said, because your father gave it to Allah. Just leave it. You know what I'm saying? The wife said, she didn't say, what are you doing? For Allah? Astaghfirullah al-Azim. He said, Allahu Akbar. That's the right decision. Ya Allah. And there's so many other examples of Sahaba radhiyallahu alayhim. I told you the story. وروى سعيد بن أبي هلال أن ابن عمر نزل الجحفة وهو شاك. يعني he doesn't, shakin يعني he is not feeling well. وهو shakin. Not shakin, shakin. يعني shakin means he's not feeling well. A shakin, that means a person have shakwa of sickness. فقال إني لأشتهي حيتانا. He said, I would like to eat fish. And they looked, they found no except one fish. His wife took it and made it for him and put it in front of him. And then a poor person comes and says, I'm hungry. فابن عمر رضي الله عنهما said, خذ الحوت. Take this fish. فقال أهل سبحان الله عينتنا, that you have make us go and look for this ship, for this fish. We can give you something else. The biryani left over, the molokhia left over, kisra, maybe pizza, cold pizza. I don't know what they cook in Aljazair. Couscous. Anything other than the fish. He said, no, the fish. They said, why? He said, because I love the fish. يطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا. They give them what they love. That's how you discipline the soul. I tell you something very interesting. My own grandfather, rahimahullah, bismillah. He desired something for food. He went and bought it and gave it to somebody else. I said, subhanAllah, what is this? He said, wallahi, I desired it. Then when I bought it, I said, why have I been desiring those kind of things? Let me give it to somebody when I see the smile in their face, as if I have eaten myself. كأني أنا الذي أكلت. But he gave it away. Rahimahullah, rahmatan wasi'ah. Number 8, then I can have you to ask questions. A person may seek to give their zakah for the 8 categories that been designated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's 8 categories. But there are certain things are priorities. What do I mean by that? If we have a relative who is poor, that's the priority than the poor who's not relative. Islam is a beautiful religion. Want to build There's relationship between kinship. Family is a strong unit. Take care of your family first. If everyone have taken their family, then the society taking care of itself. For that, first, if there's no poor person in our family, then we give it to our neighbor. A close neighbor who is poor. And then you move to other neighborhood. But also, the dire need take priority than less need. If somebody have the food of the day and the person doesn't have the next meal, the person doesn't have the next meal take priority. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, you have to give it based on the level of need. A person doesn't have a shelter, doesn't have food, have more priority than the person have a shelter and have some food. That is, as we're giving the zakah, there's so many things to say about this. It requires entire seminars from A to Z to cover all zakah, how to spend, how to calculate zakah, what is the stock market zakah, when you have debts, what you do with the debts, and so forth. It can take a lot of time. But I want to talk about the inner dimension, remember that. But inshallah, we'll do a workshop and the zakah, inshallah. I promise Basim how to do that. We'll do it. A whole workshop in this, inshallah. Any questions in this 5 minutes? Yes. Salam. Welcome. Yeah, you have very nice weather there, huh? At this time. Okay. Bismillah. The brother asked 2 questions. He said, building masajid in the West, in general, where the Muslims are the minority, can use the zakah money. There's a fatwa saying that. In any discourse, you have to be honest to tell all the opinion. They say in the neighborhood, in the place, where the people cannot afford to build a masjid, other people can give their zakah for that. This is the limited fatwa on that. The majority of the scholars of the past did not allow that. Okay? Just one. Because they say the rich person benefits from the masjid. So he cannot pay zakah and then use the masjid to pray and those kind of things. That is our opinion. The second question the brother asked, if a person gives a lot of sadaqah but have not given zakah. Zakah, there's other things the Imam speak about. Is the niyyah is important. You have to have the intention to pay zakah. That's why you tunas zakah. You calculate it, you see what time, how much you have. There's something called nisab, the minimum saved money. What happened that what people do, they spend all the money and they say, I don't have the money. But the person who making $100,000 in the neighborhood, that $40,000, $45,000 could have been enough for him to live comfortably. Then he spent all the $100,000 and said, I don't have zakah. But he forgot that $55,000 was the zakatable. But he spent it. Therefore, sadaqah is a voluntary money you give above the zakah. But the zakah in the Quran was called sadaqah also. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً. Because the person have to give it with sincerity. الصدقة برهان. Sadaqah is an evidence of faith. You know? Therefore, it's very important the person to get to the habit of calculating the zakah and make it as a ritual with the intention paying the zakah, but the extra money is fine. Yeah. Brother Anwar. That's true.
So why is it that we, at the same time, we need to look at the importance of zakah, we often overlook sadaqah? There are 8 conditions for the zakah. There are no conditions for the sadaqah. So those are 2 separate things.
Yes.
And together, you can make a good Muslim community. Unless you have both of them, you won't be able to take care of the Islamic community.
Absolutely. What Brother Anwar asking, that people that overlook that zakah is the minimum. But please remember that every dollar we give, we protect ourselves in Day of Judgment, and we investing in akhirah retirement plan. 4-1-ish? 4-1-A? Akhirah retirement plan. And we give money, we protecting our akhirah. As Brother Anwar says, Muslims have built universities. You know, there's a lady named Fatima al-Fihriya. Fatima al-Fihriya. Fatima, rahimahullah, she built a school, a university. You know the name of the university? Al-Qarawiyyin. And she fasted the entire time when the university was built to ask Allah to accept it from her. Ya Allah. Sadaqah. Not only that, sadaqah and will. 1/3 of our money should be put in our will, that to go for the sake of Allah, investing in our akhirah. Many people don't realize that. What are you going to do with the money when we die? 1/3, they tell our children, it goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to my akhirah investment. It's very important in inheritance. هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين. You ask the question. No, go ahead. No, I will give. طيب ما ممكن
The history question. I remember some time in our history, there was no person to give zakat. What happened?
Yeah, that's the golden age. Muslims have collected zakah, and they look for somebody to give the zakah. They find no poor person. Then they said everyone who's not married, we can have them get married. They married everybody. Other people said we don't need money. Then they said they want to go to Hajj. Then there come a time they couldn't find somebody to take the zakat, because they did the right thing with it. They made the community self-sufficient. إِذَا أَعْطَيْتُمْ فَغْنُوا. When you give people to be self-sufficient. The whole idea in Islam is to get people out of cycle of poverty. Give them self-sufficient. This is the time of the which Khalifa? Abdul Aziz, Umar Abdul Aziz. They couldn't. Looking for a poor person, I don't need zakat. But Allah gave so much wealth too. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت تولنا فيمن توليت اكفنا شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين. الحمد لله. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم.